And I had been an admirer of a project in Europe that a famous British architect did, which is James Stirling, and he did the Staatsgalerie. It's in Stuttgart. A building formation that allowed people to walk right through the whole building without going inside. It had to do with the kind of fabric and neighborhoods behind the City Hall and whether or not you could find a way that they could be invited down through King Street and down Victoria. But there was a distinct retaining wall which represented 5 meters roughly. It was the difference between Duke and King Street. You had to negotiate that. And because Stirling's scheme had been on a valley, he had used a number of ways of coming in high and going down low. And I remember a friend of mine challenged me and said, well, you're so smart, what do you see? And I went like this on the site. I took my fingers and I was saying, I think where my thumbs are, it's going to be the retaining wall. That's roughly where it should be. And the side walls, I think what we should do is we should proportion them to the widths of some of the commercial buildings, the narrow commercial buildings on King Street. And that was it. And I said, I don't know, in the middle, maybe there's something circular, which is what James Stirling's scheme had. But we're in Canada, so it had to be contained. And that was it. That was the kind of notion, upper kind of gardens, a wall, a breach in the wall, and then somehow coming down with a central figure. There's a hierarchy, and the rotunda is the central figure. I wanted the center of the scheme to be never closed off, and how it would be a broad range of potential public uses in the rotunda. I talked about how important it was to have public space in a city like Kitchener, where life will unfold over a longer period of time. That in fact, I think it's maybe the most important idea of architecture, that you can actually create a public space beyond a building. It has to do with the idea that those who are in the positions of governing the city would overlook the square. It has a lot to do about the industrial architecture of Kitchener, which I think is really fantastic and really modern in a way. The color of the red sandstone I had picked up from Isozaki's Museum of Contemporary Art in Los Angeles. The color of it related really, really well to the red brick architecture that I saw in Kitchener. I thought maybe we can get a kind of high and low reading off of the red stone, that it can be dimensional stone so we can use it in large slabs, but the color will refer to the color of the red. And it's a friendly building. It's not too big, you know. So I learned a lot from that project, and it then influenced a lot of other things, like projects that we were pursuing later. People would ask me, if we want to go to see one of your buildings, where would we go? And I said, Kitchener City Hall. You go there. It's got everything I know in it. And you know, I think that you will see in evidence a lot of things that I at one time thought were more just about theory and speculation about architecture. It's all there. And then we went on to do Richmond City Hall and Vaughan City Hall, and we renovated not Nathan Phillips Square, but Toronto City Hall when it got amalgamated. A lot of the lessons from Kitchener are infusing those other buildings with their fundamental organization, because we were very inspired by Nathan Phillips Square and Ravel's building. So it's a very connected, circular set of ideas.